On today's episode, we're going to be talking about what contractors like in their short-term rental and serviced accommodation properties. For the majority of the UK, Dubai, and many of the other locations that we analyze on a week-to-week basis, the contractor market is where it is at, and that is how you're going to make the most money. They come back Monday to Friday for quite a number of weeks, quite often a number of months. And that is a better client for us to obtain than the tourist client who might only come back once every 3 years. Now, don't get me wrong, we all want the tourism and we all want the weekend traffic and the holiday bookings as well. However, you should be focusing on building your business around the professional market. So, what do contractors want in their properties? Because ultimately we need to appeal to that market. We want them to check in, be happy, and repeatedly book. So, in the main, contractors do not like to travel to find their parking. So make sure if you're wanting to feed the contractor market that you're purchasing, acquiring, renting, managing in a location that either has on-street parking or secure on-site parking, or there is a car park that is a stone's throw away. A lot of them would like their vans to be parked right outside the property, and that's why a lot of the what I call fringes of city properties, we've got an abundance of stock that match this, and they work incredibly well because the contractors like to be able to go and park on the street or even on the driveway of the property so that they know their tools are secure, they can keep an eye on them. If there's any problems, they can get straight out to the problem. So that is the first thing to look at. When you're in the actual property, what do they want? Well, let's look at the avatar. So a typical contractor is working away from home on a week-to-week basis. They're on site most of the day, they come back, they're more than likely going to start early the next day. Typically these guys work from around 7 till 4 p.m. So it's early starts, early finishes, and then they need to get into the property and just relax. So ideally what they want is a good space to chill out in. Normally they'll travel in groups, so they just want a nice lounge where they can kick back. They want their own space within their rooms. In an ideal world, en-suite, although that is not an absolute must. They want to be able to have access to a kitchen that works. So they need all of the functionality there in terms of the cutlery, the pots, the pans, glasses, all that sort of stuff. A working fridge, a microwave, a toaster, a kettle. You know, you've got to just get yourself into the mindset of the type of avatar that's going to be traveling into your property. What would they like to be doing? More than likely they'll want to be watching some Netflix or Amazon Prime, so if we can give them easy access to hook that up onto the TV or even provide it for them. Some people go as far as putting in game stations. I personally don't. I don't think it's necessary for this type of traveler. I think a Wi-Fi enabled smart TV ticks most of the boxes. For the majority of companies booking, they're looking for cost-effective travel. At the end of the day, this is an expense on their bottom line. They are not trying to create an experience for their loved ones, friends, family. So you have to understand who's going to be booking your property to be able to make sure that you're laying your property out right. But in the main, that's what contractors are looking for. And contractors would much prefer to stay in a serviced accommodation, a serviced apartment, a serviced house than a hotel room. You know, it's all about efficiencies. And the more we can put into that contractor space for them, the better they're going to perform at work, and ultimately the more chance that they're going to repeatedly book. So the next thing you need to be doing is making sure that you're chasing that direct booking. If a contractor books Monday to Friday or even 2 or 3 days through the week, you've got to be calling that person. You've got to be ringing them and asking them, how long are you here for? Have you enjoyed your stay? What could we put in the property to make it, you know, more suitable for yourself? If you're going to book long term with us, we're quite happy to put a washing machine in. We're quite happy to put a dishwasher in if those things aren't already in. And these are the things that we have to be thinking about all the time. It's not just a case of putting in some nice fancy furniture, making the beds right, and you know, and just seeing what comes. We want to be appealing to where the market is. My business has appealed to that contractor market pretty much since day one, because I realized quite early doors that that's where the money is, because it's repeat money. You know, we always talk about the lifetime value of a client. Now, the lifetime value of a client is higher with a contractor client than it is with a tourist client for the majority of properties. I'm not going to stereotype all properties, but for my portfolio and for the majority of portfolios that I coach and have worked with and consulted with, that is the case. The lifetime value of a client is much greater in the contractor space. So we want to be trying to make it work for that contractor space. So that is what contractors want in the main. That is how you should be kitting your properties out. And that is the type of property that you should be trying to acquire in terms of location. Make sure that it does have the parking, because I do think that is a crucial factor.